Hey YouTube, it has been a little while, but I did promise an update on the 29th. It is now March, so we have passed that date, but we still need to give the creativity update. So I figured in this video, I'm Sam if you're new to this channel, but I figured we'd talk a little bit about what I've been doing with my current creative project and fill you guys in on a couple small little updates that have happened around. So I figured out like one of the main things I really want to do is finish this creative project. Yes, I did. I figured it out. And so I was giving myself a deadline, announcing it on YouTube, hoping that would do it. Did I finish the first chapter? No, I did not. I did not finish it. But, you know, I made some progress because sometimes we don't need to talk about the failings as I didn't get it done. Woe is me. Talk about how, hey, you know, we did better than we did before. Ugh. Here's my graphic novel. The full pages anyway. When I updated you guys last, I was on page, what was it, 13 I believe? And we have gotten past that quite a bit, which I am very proud of. I am now on the process of drawing page 25. So from here onward, we have lovely bunch of pages, you know, some of which are like, I think I showed before as being slightly drawn, but they weren't fully inked, and then a bunch more from there. And all of these are going to eventually get rescanned, probably edited, inked again, even more so once I put them into the computer. A lot of the background will be done just through digital coloring in general once I get to that stage. But you know what, I'm pretty happy with myself. The first chapter will be 32 pages, so by drawing page 25, I think I have like, at least it should be 32 pages. So no more than 7 to 10 pages left that need to be drawn. I kind of know where it's going. I might end up cutting a few here or there, you know, if like it feels too drawn out in certain sections. I'm actually making progress, which is a lot better than it's literally sitting on my table for weeks on end and never sitting down to draw any of these pages. So that's that check-in, yay. And I figured I would talk about some of the things that I did to actually get me to do it. Number one was actually making a dang deadline and make it harsh and have a place where it's like, you need to check in, Sam. That helps so much in a lot of ways, but also that was kind of, I think, the most, like, it was one little piece of the overall puzzle that got things to go. So that was number one, having a deadline with a check-in point. Number two, I think, was readying of myself, if that makes sense. I don't know, when I was working in an office for a very long time, I was kind of really downtrodden by the idea that I always had to dress in business casual. It's not really me. I like a little bit of flounce and like a lot of things that I guess wouldn't be considered office appropriate. I noticed I was slipping by now working at home. I wear a lot of just fuzzy sweatpants and cozy, comfy things. And even though I knew in the back of my head, people say all the time, get dressed for work, even though you're not going outside of your house because you need to, you know, you can't be, and it helps switch your mindset over. I just didn't really believe that. So I fell into the, you know, habit of always just wearing nice, comfy things, and then was like, why am I not as productive? Why can't I seem to do things more? So I started, you know, laying out my wardrobe every day and having fun with that element in particular. I've been wearing different jewelry pieces that I like barely ever wear or switch out. My rings kind of always stay the same, but I definitely have different necklaces and bracelets and stuff that I love to play with. Doing my makeup every single day, painting my nails again, you know, just getting a little more playful with my appearance, but also like treating it as that we are getting ready for the day every day, to put myself in a, okay, we're doing stuff today. Even if I never left my apartment for that 24 hours, something about having fun and being playful and just that like, oh, we are gonna get, I'm being stylish, you know, even if I'm just dressing up for myself or just dressing up to sit at my altar. That seemed like a lot of fun. That then expanded out to number three, my environment. It wasn't enough just to have the pages of my book out on my table where I would work on them. I realized a lot of it was rearranging my environment in a way to where just some things that I glanced at, things that I did, I wanted to make sure that those things sparked creativity and made me feel better in general. One of the things that I did is, if you will notice, this is quite a bit higher. What is going on with my altar situation? I switched out. I had an old antique trunk that I had gotten several years ago from an antique store or a thrift shop. Where did I get it from? Some random place when I lived over in California. And I purchased it, and it was kind of like my TV console, then it turned into my altar table. And it didn't fill the space quite right. I asked people on Instagram what possible things to put up above this, because I wanted to fill the space between my pentagram and the candles and stuff, and it still just didn't feel quite right. And eventually I got inspired by someone posting. They had the exact same, this is an IKEA cabinet right here. They had a similar IKEA cabinet, and they had decorated it so beautifully with bones and everything else. I will put the Instagram image right here that I was inspired by. I was like, I have that cabinet, I could do something similar. And there's nice little shelves and little places I can put things. I'm like, this would be great to put all like my working stuff for my altar up top, and then all of like my incenses, my oils, you know, my tarot decks, my crystals, my runes can all go on this below shelf, and I have even more storage. It just seemed to work so much nicer. I also have this old antique altar cloth that is handed down, and I dyed it. I was trying to get it dyed black. It turned out purpley instead. But I dyed it so it was a little more dark and somber and brought a little more cloth warmth to the side of the room, and done my altar up like this. Same thing with where I moved the chest to into my kitchen. It just works better as an art storage space, and being able to put everything away, have things be stylish, but also that I can have really easy access to it. Just having an environment that sparks a little bit of joy, that just, even as my eye glances to it, like it works functionally, and it tickles that little aesthetic piece of me. Oh, it works so nice. And when my environment works in a certain way, I suddenly feel the need to, you know, jazz up each little thing that I do. So like when I draw now, I get out my fancy coffee cups and make a really delicious thing of coffee. I make sure it's like the good coffee with the cinnamon, with the really yummy cream. Like it's a whole experience to sit down and draw. It's not just, oh, I have to sit down and draw the thing now. You know, it's not a chore so much as it is a experience to look forward to, and that has seemed to help. And then the last little thing that I do to kind of get myself to draw more is the fact that I make sure that I'm doing a spiritual thing every single day, small little things. I have noticed that I have, as I've let things kind of trudge on and life change and whatever else, I have put, yes, I have. What? Oh my goodness, you are so chatty, ma'am. What are you doing? She's purring right now. This is enjoyable to you? Really? This normally annoys you, and then you leave mama alone for a little bit. I don't know, I just like, I had this thing in my head. I was like, well, it's a little thing and it's not gonna do much. I'm not gonna make a lot of progress. Even if I sat down and draw a single line on this page, it's not a lot of progress. Even if I just pulled a tarot card today, it's not a lot of progress. It's not a lot of, I don't know, there's no major steps being made. And if I can't see or feel the progress and like feel like I'm getting ahead of it, it just doesn't feel worth it sometimes. And I had to kind of just throw that idea out the window entirely. I had to decide it doesn't matter how much progress overall I'm seeing. It doesn't matter how much progress I feel I should make. It doesn't matter how much progress even the deadline says I should have met. At minimum, I need to just sit down and make, it doesn't matter if it's a single line, it doesn't matter if it's one stroke of an ink pen, doesn't matter if it's just pulling a single tarot card, sitting down for a few seconds at my altar and giving gratitude. It doesn't matter if all I did that day was say a little blessing to my coffee. Small little steps, whether it's in my spirituality, in my path, with my art, with my work, every small little thing is at least a step closer, and I should not berate myself for those small steps, but more so really congratulate myself. Small things like, I made my bed today. I got dressed and got all dolled up, and like I could get a phone call right now to go out somewhere. I'd be like, sure, where are we going? So much of just small little basic prep things, and then going forward with that. And ultimately, I think sometimes when everything else fails, you just gotta push yourself to just draw a little something and get it done. I don't know, there's another thing I've kind of been reciting over and over and over and over in my head. You know the whole like adage, done is better than perfect, because if you're a perfectionist with a certain thing, with me it's definitely my graphic novel, you're never gonna get it, it's never gonna be perfect anyway, so you might as well just get it done. That has been there, but always in the back of my head I've come up with, yes, but I still want it to be good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to be good. And it's like, you know what? And it's not done is better than perfect. It's done is better than decent. Sometimes, you know, you have to push yourself to like edit more, look at something. Please be hypercritical about some of the things you read, do, say, make, whatever. But sometimes you don't have to be. And many a times if you find yourself in that like perfectionist just cycle and it's never ending and you're always just like, I can't get myself to finish the thing, to start the thing, to do the thing, because it's not going to be perfect. It just getting done, like through yourself being in that mindset alone, you're probably gonna do a damn good job at it. It's probably gonna be better than decent because you are hyper fixated on the details already. But making yourself say, it doesn't even have to be decent, it's just gotta get done. If that's the mindset you have to get get it done, because at least if it's done, it's out there. And you can learn from your mistakes and apply them to the next project. I think in a lot of ways, I think of so many certain creative projects or certain things as they need to be masterpieces. They need to be this amazing thing that I toil over. And it's funny how, I think my father asked me the other day something about like, well, you know, maybe you'll finish this in a couple of years. And just that concept of in a couple of years, in 5 years, 10 years, the idea of this not being done, like taking forever. I had the concept of what if I die and like this is the thing I leave. And I was one of those people where I was like, no, I don't want to have just one thing. I want to have a body of work, you know, whether it's my poetry book to this graphic novel to the next stories. I'm always thinking of more stories. I always want to create them and write them down. And maybe done is better than decent, because at least then they're told. At least they're out there. At least there is a new video up on my YouTube channel for you guys to consume. There will be problems with them all. There will be mistakes. There will be time where someone will critique something and I will go, I should have taken more time on that right there. But I'll just do that for the next project then, because it was done so it could be critiqued. It was done so someone could look at it and I could finally see where other attempts can be made. And attempting to find all those faults and all those problems and all those things before it's done so it can become this perfect thing just hinders the actual production of anything. At least for me. At least that's what I've looked forward to. So that is my little status update of where I am. I am hoping we're gonna do another deadline, because I think these are somewhat productive. At the end of March, we're gonna do a new creative update. I might actually do these for the entirety of 2020. At the end of every month, we'll do a creativity update about this particular project. So for surezies, I want to have the entirety of this book fully inked and ready to be scanned in, and then maybe have, let's say 5 pages fully colored digitally. I've got around 8 to 10 more pages to pencil out and ink, depending on how the dialogue is gonna go, because I know something about like when I'm in midst of drawing, then the dialogue in the bubbles doesn't flow right, and I'm like, I need another panel, or I need another section, or I need to cut this entirely and a page disappears in the drawing process. I don't know, that's just kind of how I work. My script just gets totally changed out by the time I'm actually drawing the people doing the thing. That'll be at the end of March, so what is it, March goes to the 31st, so March 31st. We'll do a check-in date around then. And anyway, that was today's video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye. Are you gonna be quiet or are you gonna let me film? No. What do you think? It really annoys you and then you leave Mama alone for a little bit. You know I want attention. You good?